I'm Anil Kumar, and in this video we will understand how to write domain and range of functions which could be given in different forms. As you know, we can represent functions as mapping diagrams, as table of values, as equations, and so many different forms. Let us see how to write domain and range of the functions when they are represented in different forms. Let's start with mapping diagram. So we have a mapping diagram here where set of inputs is on the left and these are related with outputs on the right. Let me just draw one for you, and let's say this is our set of elements in the mapping diagram, and let's say these points are 1, 2, 3 and 4, which are related to 1, 4, 9 and 16. Now for this particular function, let me call this function as f of x. Can you write domain and range? Well, domain is set of input elements, so we'll have an arrow here indicating that the input is on the left side and the output is on the right side. So here domain for the function is equal to set of these points 1, 2, 3 and 4. The range is equals to where they map into, which is 1, 4, 9 and 16. So that is how you can write domain and range if the function is given in the form of mapping diagram. Now if I give you a function in the form of coordinate points, set of points, which is kind of like this, let's say minus 2, 1, 0, 1, 3, 2. Then how are you going to write domain and range for this function? Well, all x values represent the domain. So in this case, domain will be equal to the x values minus 2, 0 and 3. And the range are the y values, which are going to be 1. So we need not write 1 twice. Rather, we should not write 1 and 2, right? So that is how we can write domain range if set of points is given to us. Well, sometimes you may be given a table of values, right? So let us say this is x and that is y, and then you have to write domain and range. Well, let me say that the x values are 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and the y values are 1, 5, 9, 13 and 17. So in this case, what is going to be the domain and what is going to be the range? Well, as you know, domain is set of inputs. So here domain is equals to the natural numbers, I should say the whole numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And the range is all x values associated with the y values, 1, 5, 9, 13 and 17. So that becomes the range for this particular function. Well, at times you may be given an equation. Let us say we have an equation which is y equals to 2x minus 1. Now this equation represents a straight line with y-intercept at minus 1 and slope at 2, right? If you sketch this line, it will be kind of like this, right? Where the slope is 2 and that is minus 1, the y-intercept, kind of like this, okay? So that is the line which we are talking about. Now how will you write domain and range for this function? Well, domain for a straight line, it has no restriction, will be x belongs to real numbers, and range y will also be y belongs to real numbers. So it has no restrictions at all. So that is how we can represent domain and range for a function given in this form. Now at times you may be given combination of functions on a graph. So let me give you that now, and then you will figure out domain and range for this graph. Let us say for values which are less than 0, we have a parabola. And for the values which are more than 5, let's say this is 5 for us, let us say it is a straight line going upwards. In this case, and if say this minimum value is -3. Now for this piecewise function, which is discontinuous, how will you write domain and range? Now in this function, domain is set of all real numbers except for the numbers between 0 and 5, right? So we can write here as domain is equals to x belongs to real numbers where x is less than equal to 0 since it is this point is included, and x is greater than 5, greater than equal to including this point. Okay, so that becomes the domain for the function. How about the range? Range in this case will be y belongs to real numbers so that y is greater than equal to -3, right? You will see all the points y values have all the points more than -3, right? But nothing below -3. So that becomes the range for the given function. So in this video you understand that a function could be given in different forms, and in each form we have a way to figure out how to write domain and range for that function. Well, here's a test question for you. Now write domain and range when the equation is given to you in the form. So let me write the question for you. The function f of x is equals to square root of 2 minus x. So to get domain and range for this function, you may like to sketch it and then figure out. You may like to say, well, something in the square root should always be non-negative. That should give you domain. You can use transformations and then write domain and range for the given equation. I hope that helps. Thank you and all the best.